Hello and welcome to Before and After with me, Lalit Gupta. I'm back here with episode number 3, which is the final episode of the introduction for startups for this channel. And I'm back with some serious questions on why is it that we are talking about startups in this channel. So the first question really is, why are we doing this? Well, I thought about this a lot, and over the years, as I worked in different startups, different businesses, I realized that it's very important to connect with fellow entrepreneurs, fellow colleagues who are working, thinking to start a startup. And it's always amazing to see, because it's a big word, huh? So startups these days, as I talked about in the previous episode, there are many startups, not only in Poland, but I think around the globe, it's many startups. It's what we call it's an age of innovation. So we have a lot of startups, and it's wonderful to meet different experiences and see if I can share or add any value to other people, what they do, or learn from them at the same time. And startups, building a business, building anything, I would say, it really heavily depends on lots of different things, such as behavior, such as what's your attitude, the personal attributes, I mean. So that's why I'm doing this. That's why I decided to do this channel. The second question is, why this name? Why did I think that Before and After is the right name? It was very simple for me because I thought about this, that before we can put our ideas together and make a business out of it, or whether before we start a startup or anything like this, it's just an idea. So it's really the before we do anything, before we act on that idea, before we act on this thing which we want to build, and after means once we start acting on it, what does it become? So it's kind of a flip side of the coin, that what happens on the first side when you don't do anything about this and you just get an idea, and then the second side when you get to the other side, when you start building things, or you finally get to the end state of your startup or product or service. So that's why I thought I'm going to use this name, Before and After. It also sounds very philosophical, I would agree. But I think it's idea based on also the personal life or the personal events in our life, because there is always a before and there is always an after. So that's why I chose this name. What is the audience? That's the third question. Who is it for? Who can benefit from this channel or add value or give me feedback on this channel? I think it's for everybody, mainly for young entrepreneurs, businessmen, or people who are thinking about the ideas and startups. It's for everybody. You can learn because I'm not just going to share specific to startups, but also my life experience based on that. And like I mentioned in my previous episode, I think life is also very similar as startup. You know, we always have an idea, we always have something going on. So it's for everybody, but mainly for business people, mainly for young entrepreneurs. And if I can add any value to what they do, that will be great. And last but not the least, what it is that I'm going to share, which part of startup I'm going to share. So there are many different angles to it. The first one, for example, is what do you need to do a startup? Is it idea enough? The ideas you have, or the thought you think of, or the product you think you're going to bring to the market, is it enough? Do you think that would be enough to build a startup? How important capital investment is for startups, whether they are small ones or they are big company startups. How important is capital investment? Similar questions also, such as, is strategy enough? Do you have to have strategy and vision for that startup? And to start with, what does it mean, strategy and vision? Is it not too early for a startup to think about strategy and vision? What's the end goal? So whether you want to keep going with that startup, build a business, start the revenue stream on it, or do we sell it at some point to a bigger company, or do we not sell it, or when a startup is not in a startup anymore? Things like that. But also a different angle to this would be leadership. What kind of leadership really you need Is a startup a single man job? Do you think you can develop and run this startup on your own? Or do you think you need different people helping you with this idea? What kind of leadership you need in that? Whether you need to make sure that you're getting all the skills, all the different people and angle covered, or do you think you need to first start with your idea and then as it evolves, you need to bring in more people in? So there are lots of different questions, but I think the most important one for me would be, what is your intention? First of all, I think I mentioned this very shortly in my first or second introduction video. That intention of startup, intention of your idea is very, very important. Why do you think you want to do what you think you will do? What does it do for the people around you, for the society you are in, or for betterment of an industry? Why do you think it will make difference? Are you doing this simply because you want to also make an income stream for you? Or is it not related to only income stream? Is it something much bigger inside you? As we talked in the last episode about passion, I shared my story and journey around what made me realize what my passions are, what I'm really driven to. So I think this is the most important one for me, where we need to really, before we even act or even share an idea or a thought of startup with somebody, first we need to really think what it is that we want to bring to the market, to the society, and what is our intention behind it. And another very, very important factor after attitude, I would say, it's willingness. So we need to know how far we are ready to go with this idea, because I also mentioned in my previous episodes that not all startups work. So mostly they fail in the first year, if not first 6 months. But there are startups and ideas which go a long way and end up in very, very successful ventures, businesses, and sometimes even big companies. So we need to really think of that before we start anything, that how much willingness do we have to put in, because startups are not easy. And I would not say that anything is easy in life, but I think specifically to start something from scratch, if something doesn't exist, and really build a foundation, it's like building a house or building a family. I think when we build a house or a family, you start, first of all, you think, okay, where is it that I want to build it? How much effort I need? What's the end goal? How big of a house I want? Or where, if I want to build a family, is it the right place for me to build a family? Is it the right city? Is it the right country? Am I in a good age? So all these questions are very valid. And so is for building any business, we need to know what is our willingness, how far we are ready to go, how much effort we are ready to put in. All these elements today, what I mentioned about attitude, about behavior, about leadership, about why your intention is, what is your intention, all these things are very connected. Yeah, because you cannot have one or the other. I think it's the whole movie, it's a whole team within yourself, it's a whole elements which you need to put together before you act on your idea, I think. And I don't want to make it too complicated. Maybe it sounds like like a overcomplicated thing. But these are the basic, I would say, foundation of any idea, of any business, of any startup. You need to first think of that. It's not overcomplication. It's simply putting the right expectations. It's simply putting the right ambition. And it's simply knowing how much or what you're capable of. And of course, your capabilities and your expectations, they change as you grow an idea or a business. But in the beginning, you need to have these things. These are prerequisites or essential items, I would call. So we will talk about all of these items in very detail. We'll also talk about whether once you realize that some of these items or elements are not existent, that what do we do? How do we bring them up? Or do we have somebody else joining us, bringing those things to us? So we will talk everything in very detailed, one by one. I would maybe share in comment of this video what exactly I mentioned, what elements I mentioned, and we will go episode by episode where we will talk in detail about each of these elements. And we will also talk about the administrative things of the administrative side of the things as well. So you will have a very clear idea that also from an administration or logistic point of view, you need to be ready. And it's not about how big idea you have or how big of a start you need. I think it's a basic requirement. So I will mention in this video at the bottom of the description all these elements, but yeah, this was the last introduction round or last introduction part where I really wanted to share with you what it is that we're going to talk about. And again, I want to be very specific as well that the startup is, or this channel is about startup, but at the same time I will bring some of the other elements which affect our thinking of startup or our actions towards startup. So there will be also lots of other stuff which will come together with this topic. But I'm very excited. I'm very excited that I have started this. I'm very excited that this is the last introduction part I'm recording. I'm going to record after this more detailed chapters, more detailed episodes where we will really talk about starting and to the end of one element, and I think it will make sense or will add value to what we know. But again, like always I say, please keep posting feedback. I would be really happy to incorporate that feedback and make sure that I talk about the right stuff, I bring in the right discussion. But yeah, that would be really great to see your feedback. So thank you for today. Please subscribe and follow and share this channel, this video. And yes, till the next time, I would say thank you, good luck, and see you in the next episode where we talk more details.